Alright, guys, van harte welkom bij een brand new Voice Success podcast. En vandaag hebben we een hele speciale gast, zoals jullie zien. We zitten weer in een andere ruimte. En ik zal het naar het Engels gaan veranderen, want vaak zijn onze podcasts in het Engels. Maar vandaag, it will be in English, because we have a really, really special guest. One of the, I want to say really successful people in Sweden. Really interesting story, really interesting everything in terms of mindset, entrepreneurship, becoming successful in general. Someone that I personally find really, really, really someone to look up to, and which I think you guys will learn a lot from today. We're going to keep it a raw podcast today, which we do always at the For Success podcast. I'm glad you guys are tuning in to watch this. So get ready. Perhaps also get some pen and paper and also get some notes that you can take, because it's going to be a very valuable podcast that Kao and I today are going to do with a special guest. Tigran is here with us. Tigran,
Welcome.
I want to welcome you to our podcast. Amazing that you are here. Great that you had some time for us to make today, and that we could talk a little bit about your backstory, about everything regarding how you became successful, how it is here in Sweden, why we're sitting here and what we're doing here, and to start it off completely like that. We of course know who you are, but the people watching don't know. So could you give us a little bit of a backstory of who you are, from childhood on, and then we'll start there and see where the podcast takes us.
Cool. Okay, thanks. So, wow. So where do I start? Childhood. How far do we go back?
We go all the way back.
All the way back? So, I'm the last Soviet kid. I'm born in 1990, and I've lived in... for my first 11 years, I lived in Russia.
Okay.
I'm born in Armenia. So I'm Armenian from Russia, live in Sweden. So, a lot of different influences culturally, and I've been here now in Sweden for 22 years.
Okay.
It's so much I can tell about the childhood stuff, but I think what is more important, and I think what is more interesting for the listeners is how can you turn anything to your advantage, regardless of what you've been through. I usually say this to all my clients, that it's been raining on all of us, so like it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what's happened to you. And I'm not saying this in any insincere way. I mean, really, like, I have a great understanding for the people coming from different backgrounds. Some had a rougher path, some had an easier path. But what I'm really into is understanding the principles that never change. So, like, regardless of where you been, who have been your parents, where are you right now, if you understand there are always the same principle for success for everyone and they never discriminate, if you learn them and start living with them, you can be successful at anything you do. So,
it's powerful.
Yeah,
it's really powerful.
Yeah.
And in terms of so to go back to what you mentioned, so you were born in Armenia.
Yeah. Well, actually, my mom already. So it was Soviet Union. I said I was the last Soviet kid. So I'm born 1990, and my mom already lived in Russia, but she wanna give birth. In the old country, so she went to Armenia just to give birth, and then we went back to Russia.
Makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So in my passport it says, born in Armenia.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. So at what age were you? You mentioned 22 years in Sweden. Well, what age were you? Like 10, 11?
I was 11. Yeah,
11.
It was 2001.
Okay.
And I've lived here in Stockholm for 7 years now.
Okay,
that's so I'm moving around in Stockholm. I've been a little bit in US, lived there for 6 months, went to college, but never really, studying was never my thing. So
got it. That makes sense. And to go into the topic of studying, because we're going to get into that, of course, in just a minute, about Bob Proctor, and I want to go a little bit into the traditional education system and colleges and schools. How was it for you as a kid coming to Sweden? you know, going through the education system, school system? How did you find it? Because a lot of people watching this, they'll you know, they'll also be probably in school. Some will be probably older, having kids, but also have gone through the education system and all those things. And the things that they learn, you know, some life principles and some principles that, you know, people that like us, like entrepreneurs, you know, have to learn by itself. Some things that school doesn't teach you. How was that process for you for basically your teenage years, going through the education system, going through the school system, and how was it in general? How did you find it in general during your teenage years?
Right. So when I say I never really liked studying, I mean the traditional school studying. I love studying the things I study now. I study every day, but I study the essential principles of me. Who am I? Like you always get on. Like this is one of my favorite quotes ever. I think it's Socrates who said it, but you never know. And the quote is, "Know thyself, know yourself." Like that is something I remember I read it the first time was years ago, maybe like 10 years ago. I didn't really understand it to the point that where I understand it now. It's everything. You really got to understand who you are, because only then you know what you can do. If you don't know who you are, you don't know what's possible for you. And then you're just going to go by, you know, in your routine. You're going to stay where you are. You're going to have, you know, you're going to look at the things you have, and then you're going to measure yourself based on the things you've accomplished to this day. You know, but the more you study you, the more you study understand yourself, how much there is within you, the more you understand how much things is really available to you. You know, we're creative beings. We're here to create. We're not made for work. We're made to create. That's why we feel good when we set the big goals. We start the, you know, creating something from nothing. When it comes to the school and the system, and for everyone who's listening, like, I am not a fan of it, because I don't think school is teaching you anything about you. You know, you learn a lot about information about this and that. And I guess, like, if you're going to become a lawyer or a doctor, or, you know, the professions that are necessary for you to have, you know, a degree and stuff like that, like, it's all good. And I'm not saying everything with school is like super bad. No, it's not. But it's like, for me personally, I knew very early on that I'm not learning the things I feel that I need. And then you know, when you graduate school, you don't know who you are. You have no idea how to make decisions, because they don't teach that. You know, no one is teaching you how your mind works. How do you do when things are not going well for you? Like how to think. You know, no one teaches you that. How to earn money. What about that one? Is that important or what? Like, if you think about all these major things that you really have to understand and master, unfortunately, the school is not teaching you. The school is just giving you a lot of information. And you see, it's funny when you think about it, because we're all so conditioned to, even after school, to do things how we did in the school. Let me give you an example. So when you go to school, what you're really doing is you're not really learning. What you're really doing is you're gathering information. You're memorizing information to write on a test, and then, you know, if you get a good grade in the test, they say, "Oh, you're ready to go." You're not ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know nothing. So, like, you memorized something on a test, and afterward, like, I have so many people that I know that went with the best grades, but they can't even find a job. They have no idea who they are. They are stuck, you know. And I'm not saying like, oh, all people. No, some people have good grades that are just flying, but it's not a guarantee, because here's the thing. What controls most of our behaviors and our results is our programming. We're all being programmed, you know, all the time. We're programmed how to think, what to believe in, you know, you're programmed how to see yourself. Like, you have an image of yourself, what you think you're capable of, your self-worth, you know, things you think is possible for you, all the things like your perception of the world, all that is programmed. You can have a lot of information you gather, but if the programming is not changed, you will still behave the same way. You know, even if you know that, like, you can say, "Oh, but I know that," but you're behaving like you've never heard of it. You know, it's the behavior you want to change. And real learning is never gathering information. That's what I did, because when I started with the personal development, this was back in 2013, I was really just following the pattern from school, which is, oh, I'm going to be successful. Oh, okay, I'll just read another book. No, you will not be successful from read. A lot of people read books on how to get wealthy.
Yeah.
Not all of them get wealthy.
Exactly.
All people have read Think and Grow Rich. Not all of them become millionaires. All people watch YouTube. See, we follow the same programmed pattern that say, if you know more, if you gather more info, your life going to be better. No, it will not. The thing that controls your behavior are not the same part of you that gathers the information. That's why you can read all the books, but you still have the same pattern. You still attract the same money problem. You still attract the same relationship. And these are the things I started to understand my first 5 years into personal development, until I actually met my mentor, and he just, revealed, like, he said, like, yeah, you just been gathering information. That's why nothing has been working for you, So, and then I started to, let's focus on the thing that I really need to change.
Got it.
It's not more books. It's never the answer.
Yeah.
That's true, because I heard, like, now even today as well, like, a lot of people are going self-development, are reading a lot of books, etc. But they think, I get a lot of knowledge, but they think, I'm still not at the same level that I want to reach. And I think it's still getting the knowledge, but also implement the knowledge as well into real life. I don't think a lot of people do that as well, because they think, it's too hard. Like, I don't want to do it. I want to read more books. And there's like specific word for it. I think it's like, it's not, it's a specific word, but I don't know which word it is.
Like procrastination.
Procrastination. It's more like, I don't know what the word is, but I think self-masturbating on more books, more knowledge, without implementing the things that need to do in order to get the results.
Shelf help.
Shelf help.
Exactly. So, Tigran, how does someone, going through that system, basically, of the educational system, and just memorizing things, which is something I also noticed when I was doing my bachelor. I just memorized things for a test, did the test, finished the test. I never looked back at it again. How does someone make the first step towards a better self-identity, a newer self, reaching their goals? For you, perhaps you could talk to us a little bit in terms of how you came to, the Bob Proctor and the realization of that, and how does someone get to that point of actually, getting to know who am I, getting to know the self-identity, and working on themselves, improving their life in general. So let's start with that in terms of, for the students and people going through that system, what could be the first path to like success that they could take into getting to know thyself?
So I believe that you got to have a goal. Like, you got to know what you want. So if I ask everyone who's listening, what do you want more than anything else in the world? Ask yourself that question. Most people, when they ask that question, they say, what do I want? And then they start looking at what they have. Let me see what I have now. I have this much money. I know these many people. This is my circumstances. It's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, what do you want regardless of all the circumstances? If everything would be possible for you, what do you want more than anything else in the world? If you can capture that, okay, that you have this big idea, big dream, big goal. If you make one of my mentors says irrevocable decision, irrevocable committed. It's just such a good explanation. Like, you do not walk, go back from the decision. You make a committed decision for the goal. The goal will reveal everything you need to know about yourself. This is very interesting, because this is much deeper than, I've heard it's good to have goals. Very, very few people know how to set right type of goals. Most people don't reach their goals, not because they don't have any, or because they're too big or too whatever hard. It's because they are setting wrong types of goals. They're not conditioned to understand how to think. What kind of relationship are you creating with your goal? So when you set a goal, like if I ask you, what do you want more than anything else in the world? What I'm really asking is, what do you think is the best scenario ever for you? What would be the best scenario ever? Can you think of that? Can you imagine that? Do you have to take your current circumstances with you? Do you have to take all your friends have to fit in? All your family have to fit in? Your past? If you do that, then you're shrinking. You're going to shrink your goal. Most people do that. They think of their goal, oh, but if I go for that, what about my friends? What about this? What about that? And then what they do is they're trying to merge their goal with their current circumstances, and now they lose the goal. When you have this big idea, in order for you to reach the goal, you have to change your identity. And that's really understanding yourself, because your goal will require a new version of you, a more authentic version of you. You know, people say, be the best you. That's exactly what it is. See, if I say, what do you want more than anything in the world? And you say, I want to 10x my income. Okay. So 10xing your income will require that you peel off like 80% of the things you're already doing, 80% of the things you believe in, 80% of the conversation that you have, 80% of the people you're associated with. You got to peel off all of that. And then you're left with the 20%. You know, there's a great book, 10x is easier than 2x. I would highly recommend. But also, if you read it, just implement it. Don't just read it. But we're talking about how do you take yourself to the next level. You got to have a goal that inspires you so much, so it's worth for you to do all the things, to develop yourself. Because here's the thing, the time will pass you anyway. So you might as well go big. You know, it's not like, oh, I have a second shot. No, you don't. No, I read this book 7 years ago. I like Greek philosophy, old Greek philosophy. I read, I think there's their awareness they had 2,000-3,000 years ago was incredible. And and this is a book from Seneca. It's on shortness of life. And he says in that book, people say that life is short, but the truth is life is not short. Life is long enough, but people waste most of it. That's why it feels short. It feels like it just flies by. But if you live fully, it's enough for you. It is long enough. And here's another thing. If you think about this, most people are very they're holding so tight on their things that they have. Oh, this is my computer, this is my money, this is my this. But when it comes to their time, they're just squandering it. They're going to live forever. Yeah. It's the most valuable thing. And I think for me personally, a significant shift happened when I started to understand I'm mortal. I am going to die. We're all expiring, we're all expiring. So the process of your life ending, it's already started. It's not being negative. It's just being awake.
Of course. Yeah.
So that creates urgency, and you got to have your goal. You got to go for what you really want, and you got to have this sense of urgency in it. No, it's not I'll do it tomorrow. Okay. Oh, I'll do it next. No. You got to act like every day is one lifetime. When you wake up today, you want to have the mindset that this day is my whole life,
Yeah.
Because nothing else is guaranteed. So you don't know if tomorrow going to come anyway. A lot of people went to sleep today. They thought they're going to wake up. A lot of people didn't wake up, If you're one of those that woke up, you're fortunate. So do the best with that day. That day is your lifetime, And if you really think about what success is just a successful day repeated into week, into month, into year. That's what it is. So you only just go all in on that day. You don't have responsibility for tomorrow. You only have responsibility for today. Do the best you have. And then when you wake up tomorrow, and then you say, okay, it's day one again. I'll just go again.
Yeah.
That's what you do. But it's having this really inspirational goal for yourself. Most people don't set the goal because they don't think they can have it. I ask you, what do you want more than anything else in the world? And you think of it and oh, but I don't think I can have it. You got to stop that. That's a conditioning. That's just a program. It's you thinking, oh, if I don't know how to reach it, it means I can't reach it. No, it's not the same thing. If you think about successful people, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or whoever, okay, the name that we know, okay, none of them sat there and, oh, I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna, start creating rockets. Oh, I know how to do that. No one knows that. Like, no one knows how to reach the goal.
Yes.
They just know they can reach it because they understand themselves.
Yeah.
That's what know thyself come from. You gotta understand that you have what it takes. That's the most important thing. It's not like, oh yeah, I know how to do things. That's not really confidence. That's identity. That's something you're already built. If I know how to do thing, it's already automatic. Confidence is when you don't know how to do it, but you know you'll figure it out.
Yes.
If you need to learn, you'll learn. If it's need doing, you'll do it. If you need to find the people, you find the people. Like, you know that you have what it takes to reach it. You don't know what it takes, but you know, regardless of what it comes, I'll handle it.
I think that's keyword there. I think it's keyword belief. You need to believe that you could deserve the goal that you want to reach. And I think a lot of people saying, oh, I don't deserve this. Like, secretly, they don't deserve this. Oh, I'm not good for this. Oh, I don't know how to get results. Or this and that. Like, they don't believe in themselves. Then they also project their body language, what they're saying, also to the outer world as well. I think that's the important thing as well.
Or we see people set a goal. We have a lot of students. They set a goal. We say you need to see it. You need to see what your current self and your future self, the bridge that you gotta go across, like the gap between your current self, your current reality, and your new self. You gotta see it. You gotta believe it with everything in your body, and then you gotta take action to do it. I want to talk a little bit about the victim mindset. How, because you have at least how I see it, you have the abundance mindset, you have the victim mindset. A lot of people go into the victim mindset. They set a goal, but they still have that victim mindset. They still have that, oh, I set the goal, but I have, I don't know, something happened. Like my car broke down. I cannot work on my goal today. I cannot go towards that. I cannot, there's something, I have a bad day. I didn't sleep well.
The government,
like excuses that they have, which brings them into that specific mindset. How, is it basically, what's kind of the process for someone perhaps listening to this? Of course, setting the goal, right? Believing it, understanding that. I think that's really powerful. Understanding that you're not gonna live forever, right? This life is limited from the day that we were born. So, how does someone from that mindset, with even setting a goal, doing that, how do they still, if they put themselves in a victim mindset, how do they get out of that? Like, practically, right? If they're in a situation that they have, for example, bad people around them, bad habits, or because I was in a situation with that, like a lot of negative people. I was in that victim mindset until I said, you know what? All of these people can do around me what they want, but it's my responsibility. Like, I'm responsible for everything that happens in my life. But for me, it was that realization as well when I started, reading the right books, getting the right mentors. In your eyes, Tigran, how does someone go from this to this?
Yeah, so that's the only way to create freedom. When you start to understand that you are 100% responsible for everything that happens to you. Like, it's easy for people listening and say, oh, but I have this in my life. I have these people are negative. I have this job. I don't really like it. I have this. And like, it's important to understand two things here. How we have been conditioned is not our responsibility because we were too small to take responsibility. Like when you're 3 years old, you're not really responsible for anything, but you're being conditioned to become the person you are. Here's the thing. Everything you have comes from your conditioning. You cannot take responsibility for the conditioning, but you have 100% responsibility for changing the conditioning. And that's very important to understand. You can say, yeah, but I have money problem. I have relationship problem. I've been programmed to not believe in myself, all that. Okay, I'll buy that, and that's fine. But if your programming is not giving you the life you want, it's 100% your responsibility to change it. It's not someone else. See, there's the whole victim mindset comes from someone not taking responsibility, because really it comes from lack of awareness, not understanding that you are really the creator of your life. It's like people are hypnotized to think that there's some unseen hand doing things to you. It's the outside world, keeping the money from you or the success from you. No one is keeping anything from you but yourself. Like it can feel like it does it. Oh, but yeah, I have a lot of proof. My people, are negative. They're negative. Not all people, not all of the friends are negative for other people. Like if you say, oh, my friends are negative, but your neighbor friends are positive. Why? Well, maybe because you're attracting the things only accordance to where you are. You only attract things that are in harmony with you. Like if you look at your relationship, like your friends, you are friends because you have a lot of things in common. You talk about the same things. You probably have the same values. You probably earn similar amount of money. Like, you have all that. It's harmony. Every time you go for something else, you just start disrupting the pattern. Most people don't do that because, oh, my friends will judge me. If you cannot take that, you don't deserve to win. Like if you cannot take some people criticizing you or it's going to be uncomfortable, you don't deserve to win. You're like, there's no free lunches. Oh, I want to have this extraordinary life, but I'm just going to behave the same way. Well, no, like either like make up your mind, either this or that. You cannot have like both of it. No, you got to choose, and the victimhood really comes from thinking that the outside controls my inside. That's what a victimhood is. And that's living backwards. When I think like, so most of us are earthbound. It means really that you live from your senses. Like I look at my bank account and there's not a lot of money, so I feel poor. I get demotivated and I'm like, oh, maybe, I don't know, I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know. So all my well-being motivation comes from the results. I look at the results. If they're not very good, I'm like, oh, I get very demotivated and upset. If they're good, okay, let's do it. And then they're not good. Okay, I don't know. So it's like one step forward, one step back. That's victimhood. That's living backwards. And okay, let me go a little deeper on that because this is like the most important thing really to understand, because this is number one reason why people actually fail.
Yes.
Okay. And it's because you're looking at your circumstances and you're letting your circumstances to control your thinking. When you do that, it's game over. Okay? Because if the circumstances are controlling you, you are not in control of you. So you're not heading towards your goal. You're heading towards creating more of the same circumstances. Because if the circumstances control my thinking, then I will behave in a certain way to recreate whatever controlling my thinking. Okay? So then I'm just creating more of the same, but I'm trying secretly get away from it. No, I'm doing the same thing, expecting something different. That's why the real victimhood comes from you not understanding that you are creating circumstances, not circumstances are creating you. There's a principle in the universe called cause and effect. For every effect, there is a cause. Nothing happens just in itself. Like money is not in a vacuum. Like it's not like, oh, that's an income. No, income is a result of a cause. It's your income? Yes. Well, then you have caused it. How do you cause it? By thinking certain way, by doing certain things, by associating yourself with certain people. So that is the cause you're sending out. Money comes back just a reflection of the cause. Cause and effect. For every cause, there is an effect. So then the question is, what do you want more than anything else in the world? Oh, I want to 10x my income. That's the effect. Now you know that. What would be the cause of that? What would be the thinking of that? What would be the attitude of that? What would be the action of that? You only focus on the cause. Someone who is really aware of themselves understand that the only thing they can control is what they're causing. They can never, control the effect. The effect is just a reflection for the mirror. If you want to change the mirror reflection, you just change something in yourself, which is causing the reflection. The reflection always takes care of itself. Someone who's aware understand that, but most of us have been conditioned to look at the reflection and let the reflection upset us. It's just not thinking, and that's what programming is. We're all programmed to think it. Programming is like hypnosis. You just walk around, you do, my mentor, Bob, he used to always tell us this. He said, most people don't think. I remember, I swear, the first time I heard it, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, of course they do think. And then he said this. He said, watch how they live. He said, listen to their conversations. And I started to really notice that. Like, I went to like public places, you know, had my coffee, sitting, just listening to people, what they were talking about. Most people don't think. If you are thinking, you would never put yourself down. You would never say, oh, this is going to be hard for me. No, if you're thinking, you would not say that. Even if it's going to be hard for you or whatever, you don't say that. Or, oh, I don't think it's possible for me. Or complaining or talking about other. It's not thinking. It's all just hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do. They don't even know why they're doing it. Okay. But all the people who are really awake, they don't do that. Okay. Like, listen to what they talk about. They talk about greatness. They talk about ideas. They talk about how they can expand, do things better. That's what a creator does. A creator creates. Okay. Creative process is expansion. It's always doing something bigger, better.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not focused on becoming bigger and better, and you're just talking about the things, how they are, or, you know, the past or other people, it's because you're just simply not thinking. You're just saying the things you have heard other people say. You don't know why you say it. You don't know why they said it. And, you know, you're just repeating like a recorded tape, you know, you just, yeah. So that's the whole victimhood mentality really comes from us thinking that there is a second cause. Like, I have my income. Oh, I don't like my income, but it's not really me only. There is something else causing it too. My job doesn't pay that much. Or in my situation, it's when you add a second cause to the effect, it's game over. You're always going to be passive. So second cause really means that you include something else that is creating the result you don't want. It's not only me. It's like, yeah, maybe I have 40% responsibility for this, maybe 60, but not whole of it. Like, the other 50% comes from the politics or my neighbors. They're negative, or my family. They are doing this too. Like, like, when you add a second cause to anything that you have in your life, you are going to become passive. Passive means then you're gonna just sit and wait. Like, if I say, oh, Kahu, you are, you are also responsible for my results. Well, then I also say that in order for my results to change, you have to change. So I have to sit and wait until you change. Most people sit and wait until something changes. The time is not right. The time is never right. The future never comes. It's always today. When tomorrow comes, it's still going to be today. Yeah. You're going to sit there tomorrow and say, oh, today. And then it's going to say tomorrow. So the future never comes. It's always now. And if I think there's something else causing my results than me, then I'm going to sit and wait until that thing changes first. Now let's move. But when you say, no, wait, I take full responsibility for everything that I have. And here's the thing. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge your results. Don't judge yourself. It's not practical. Just see it very neutral. It is what it is. Is it what I want? No. That's fine. I can change it. But you admit to yourself that you can change it. If you admit yourself you created it, you also admit that you can change it. Yes. So now you get the power back. Now it's something else. But most people don't admit that because they judge themselves too much. Oh, yeah, it's my results. That's why I'm bad. Like, just stop all that. Be neutral. For every cause, there's an effect. If the results are your results, they have to do with you. Most of us just exclude ourselves because we cannot explain why certain things happen to us. But if you have reoccurring things coming to you, certain type of people coming into your life, certain type of income coming in your life, you got to understand if it's coming because it belongs to you. Yeah. You attract it the way you think, the way your frequency or vibration, you act in a certain way. You just attract it to you, Yeah. So once you change the cause, the effect will always change. You can never change the cause and attract the same things. You will attract something else because everything is in harmony. And that's the beauty of this principle.
That makes a lot of sense. So in terms of cause and effect, I always link that a little bit also with the Pareto principle, like 80-20 rule. When we look at, the top 10% like earners like in a country, they usually make 90% of the money. In terms of when talking about you and how you got to success, what would you say for someone looking like this? And we're sitting here in Stockholm, and amazing view that people can see here behind us. What has kind of been your journey towards coming here? You mentioned at the beginning, Armenia, Russian, right? Coming here at 11. What was kind of that? You then met Bob Proctor in terms of the success that you've now achieved and the goals that you want to achieve now, the goals that you have. What do you see? What patterns do you see? Of course, like admitting, taking responsibility, the things that we talked about, cause and effect. What would you say is like the one of the biggest things that successful people have, like yourself? Of course, setting the goal, right? The things that we mentioned, but in your journey specifically, because this has all, you've set the goal, right? In terms of you've manifested, things are manifested in your life. I think you remember like 3 weeks ago, we went on a call. You talked about, about a yacht that you were looking at. You showed us a video. I found that really inspiring that you said, and always when we talk, you say, guys, this is our goal. This is the target that we need to hit. Yeah. And you're really explicit about that. I noticed that with you. Would you say that's one of the traits that successful people also need to have in order to manifest things like this? And what was that for you? That's just what I'm really interested to know in terms of the traits.
I think this is what I always say, like, go for the things that really makes you inspired. It's not really about the money, because here's the thing, it's not really about reaching the goal either. Many people think that when I reach the goal no, it's not about reaching the goal, it's about going for it.
Yes.
That's why when you set a really big target, this big goal will demand more of yourself, and it's all about you unleashing more of your potential. That's really what it's about. The whole process of goal setting and goal achieving and going for it, it's about you growing, expanding. It's not about reaching the goal. Like, I can buy the boat, I can buy the apartment, I can buy this and that, and I'm really happy. Like, when I moved to this apartment, I remember the first maybe 4 or 5 days, because this was like one of my biggest goals. I moved here and I had this view. I woke up and I'm like, how did I become this lucky? My second thought was, you're not lucky, pal. This is by design, know? So, but like, obviously with a positive,
Of course.
But here's the thing. Every day I woke up for maybe like 5-6 days in a row, I was waking up and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe and then eventually I just accepted that, of course. And then this became just normal. But I cannot stay here now. I gotta think, what will bring more out of myself? It's not, and that's why I always tell people, it's not about reaching the goal. Will not make you happier or whatever. No, because the goal is static. You get the apartment, you get the Ferrari, it's static. You have it. You're happy for 3-4 days, and then it's like normal. And what else? Yeah. You gotta keep expanding. So it's not about, and it's not really about having more things. Oh, now I have to have an even bigger apartment. It's not about that. It's about you going for things that are so inspiring for you. So you reach deep. You go deep in yourself, and you just put out things you don't even think were there from the beginning. So when you go, like, when you see successful people, you can see that they have a great understanding of themselves. And again, when the more you understand yourself, the bigger you go, because you start to realize that maybe everything is really possible. Maybe everything is really possible. What if everything is, like, someone listening now, like, yeah, it's easy for you to say this and that. But see, here's the thing. Going for something big doesn't cost you any money. Yeah. A decision for changing your life like night and day doesn't cost anything. Having a great attitude doesn't cost anything. Doing your best doesn't cost anything. Well, it costs one thing: willingness. Are you willing to do it? you know. And if you really think about it practically, like there's another principle that it calls law of sacrifice. It means like one thing is always on the cost of something else. Like we're sitting here, we could been doing something else. But what we're doing right now is on the cost of something else that we could have played PlayStation, whatever, you know, or read a book or whatever, take a walk. Here's the thing. When you have a big goal, when I ask you this, what do you want more than anything else in the world? Again, it's not about the goal of reaching it. When you have this, you know, really great idea of that is super inspiring for you, and you keep that in your mind, really close in your awareness, what happens is that the goal that you just admitted, this is the most important thing, this is what I want more than anything else, what you're also admitting is what things to prioritize. So if I ask you, what do you want more than anything else in the world, and you have your goal, well, now you also know what to prioritize. This is number one thing to do. This is number two thing. This is where I should put my focus. This is where, like, you have the major thing. Now the major thing deserves the major time, the major energy of you, right? If you don't have a goal, you're just going to drift because you don't know what is more important than. So you sacrifice, you're ending up sacrificing the goal for the minor insignificant things. But when you have this beautiful thing you're going for, now you're aware of, wait, this is the most important thing. Let me see what's priority number 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So I don't put them in random, you know, start giving a lot of time and attention on the things that are on the 79 on the list. And the number 1 on the list gets like 2 minutes a week. No, don't do that. That's lack of awareness. You gotta understand what is more important in your life and have that, put your intention on that. That will bring you more joy, more everything for you, you know, more success, better people come, like everything. You become better in every way. So this, like, we could have spoken about goals, like, because it's a science behind it. It's much more than, oh, I have a goal, I'm just going to reach for my new Ferrari. It's not about the thing itself. Like, if you want the car, great, go for it. If you want the apartment, go for it. It's all very nice. But understand that when you have something really inspiring, really big for yourself, it's because it will demand that you change. And it's you constantly becoming better. That's the whole goal. You know, that's the thing. So, like, if you don't have a goal, you don't know how to spend your days. Exactly. Like, you don't know what to do with yourself. You know, like you wake up and you sit, you know, on the bed and like, what am I? You don't know what to do. You know, like you can do. Have you seen Alice in the Wonderland? Have you seen that movie? You know, when Alice just lands in the Wonderland, then she comes to this crossroad and there's this cat sitting there. And then Alice says something like, I don't quote it, but something like, where do I go now, right or left? And the cat says, it depends where you want to end up. And the Alice says, I don't know. Then the cat says, then it doesn't matter where you go. That's exactly what when you wake up in the morning, it doesn't matter what you do if you don't have a goal. Like, you know, if you don't have this vision clearly where you're going, do whatever. It don't really matter, you know, but you're going to feel really bad about yourself. Something that I've learned is that if you don't have a goal that expands you, your image of yourself is going to be worse with time, you know? So you're just going to shrink. So you don't want to shrink. If you shrink, your world becomes really difficult for you, you know? Everything becomes like, oh, people do not want to cooperate with you. People see you're needy now. No one want to help someone who's needy, you know? And that's what you kill neediness when you have your goal and you really commit to it. You know, you become self-sufficient.
Well, what would you say to the person that's watching this podcast or listening to this podcast? They set a big goal. They want to reach the Ferrari, for example, within a year, but they still have that issue of, oh, I've set the goal, but they do the action for a couple of months, but then let's do part. Let's do other things. How can they still get focused and put all the effort towards their goal to get the Ferrari, for example?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, it's about your commitment to it. So commit to complete things. If it's something that can really increase your self-esteem, it's you completing things. Like, if you said you're going to do it the best of your ability and complete it. There is nothing more than really gives you this, oh my God, I really like myself. That feeling comes from you really controlling yourself, ruling yourself, So when you have, say, if you have a goal of Ferrari or whatever, I mean, if it's really important to you, go for it all in. And then remember why, sometimes when you're not motivated, remember, why did I even start this? Why did I, like when you start to, thinking of the reasons why you want it, then you can re-engage emotionally. But here's a very important thing to that question. The things that demotivate us, it's not because the goal is hard or big or whatever, or our relatives are negative or whatever. No, it's not that. It's because you're not disciplined in your mind. Like I set a goal, and then I take in negativity, and then I accept the negativity. See, this also goes really deep, and here's another way of explaining it. What really motivates us, like increase motivation or decrease motivation, it's not really us doing it. It's about the idea that we accept and get emotionally involved in, because everything is energy, and energy is on a frequency, which means that there are infinite levels of frequencies. When I ask you, what do you want more than anything else in the world, and you say, oh, I want this, you really address that your goal is on a higher frequency. You're not there yet. That's why you don't have it. So your job is to raise to the frequency, stay there long enough until you become in harmony with it, until you are the person who the Ferrari belongs to, or the house or whatever. So here's the thing. How do you raise your frequency? Committed decision, you stick with it. And here's how you stick to the decision. You only accept ideas that make you stronger and expand you. You do not accept anything that make you weaker and takes your power away from you. That's why I tell all the people all the time, don't watch the news. Don't read the papers. When people talk about negativity and the killings and complaining, remove yourself from it. Don't accept things that you know will weaken you. If you are doing that, it's impossible to reach your goal, because every time you're weakening yourself, you're dropping your frequency. You are not the person who the Ferrari belongs to now. You are the person you are right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's all about the discipline. Is not about so much of the activities. I wake up 5 a.m, I run a marathon before breakfast. Like, yeah, sure, it's all great stuff, but primarily when we're talking about discipline, this is something I really discovered for myself. I had the best mentors in the world with this. So when I listened to them and I saw how much attention and emphasis they put on things like decision and discipline, I'm like, if they talk about it this much, it gotta be important. So I really start to, dive really deep. Discipline is disciplining your thinking primarily. And what does it mean? Well, it means that if something negative comes to you, you just reject it. You do not emotionalize with it. Someone criticizing you and you take it too hard, you take it personalized. Now it's actually going to drop your standard. You are disconnected from your goal. You're not motivated anymore. You're just heading somewhere else. You're not heading towards your goal. You're heading somewhere else now. Okay? It's all about what is happening inside of yourself. You got to be aware of that. And what's happening inside of you, it's always the cause is the idea that you accept and emotionalize. That's why you really always want to keep the motivation just by being very selective what you accept and what you reject. You put on the news and they say, oh, it's super hard to get a job now. You reject it. You will have 3 jobs if you want to. Most people don't reject it. Most people say, oh, the news said it. Oh, that's why it's true. It's going to take your power away from you. You're just going to be weaker and weaker and weaker. And now the time is passing you. Time becomes your biggest enemy. Because if you're on the wrong track, time is the biggest enemy you have. Because then with the time, you just go deeper and deeper down, But if you're on the right track, now time is your best friend. Because with time, you just expand more. It's like, so like if you think about it this way, like everything we do on a daily basis, it will either somehow expand us or shrink us. Like if you're really aware of it, you will see, some things you do and the way you do them. Like we're doing a podcast now. We can do this podcast with a very low energy, pretty bad attitude, and we say we did a podcast, but we still feel shit afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's not what you can go to the gym and say, I went to the gym, but you were scrolling on Instagram. It's like you go home and you're like, I went to the gym, but I don't really feel it. I don't feel I did anything good anyway. So it's not what you do, it's more how you do the thing. Are you all in it, or are you like, nah, I'm just, halfway in? No. Yeah. If you're 50% in, if you're 75% in, you're all out. There is nothing in between. You're either all in or all out, And every action we do, first, it has to have purpose. Like, why am I doing this? Does this support my well-being? Does this support my goal? If no, well, probably no. Like, I'm not saying be a robot, never watch a movie, never no, it's not what I'm saying. We're talking about major time on major things, obviously. You can go watch a movie, take a walk, go party. Like, all that is great. But with what energy? Or I'm partying so I can escape my life because I hate it. Well, that's not a good idea. Partying in itself, it's not good or bad. It just is. But are you partying to celebrate your life, or are you partying because you just want to forget your life? Different partying,
Different energy.
Different energy.
Yeah.
It's all energy. So like everything you do on a daily basis is either sufficient, like something that expands you, or insufficient, something that shrinks you. And here's the thing. If you do a lot of things that are insufficient, then you feel like a failure. It feels bad.
Yes.
And if the more of those things you do, the worse for you. Like if you do a lot of things that shrink you, then the number of things, if you do more of them, then you will shrink faster and more, you know? Then now time is really your enemy, So it's not about how many things you do. It's about the few things that are really important. You're aware of why you're doing it, the importance of them, and you're giving everything you have. That's what's really going to expand you.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. All right, so Tigran, I wanna touch a little bit up on Bob Proctor, and basically the impact that he has had on your success. Like, we know the name, but what was his impact on? Of course, your success is, of course, your own responsibility, but you have mentors that can, affect the outcome that you can get, or the thoughts that you can have to think into becoming, your newer self. What impact has he had on your success when we talk about him in specific?
One of the things that Bob always used to say is that no one lacks potential. People only lack direction. So, like, most people are going nowhere, and because they don't know where to invest themselves in. Like, everyone has such a great potential, people just not aware of themselves. So they think like, maybe I don't have it. But again, it's because most people don't know themselves. So they just measure themselves by the results they have. Result is not who you are. Results is just results of your behaviors. And your behaviors comes from your programming. And programming you can change, like you can change your clothing, And Bob said, like, no one lacks potential. Everyone has infinite potential, but they don't have the direction. So they don't know where to invest themselves in. And that's what a mentor does. A mentor helps you to stay on track. Like, I tell my mentor, this is what I want more than anything else. Now he knows how to hold me accountable to the thing I just said is the most important thing for me, to stay on track. So, well, there are a lot of things, obviously, I've learned from Bob. One of the things is decision. See, that a lot of people have heard what decision is, but most people just have no real understanding of it. Just words for most people. See, if you are going to qualify something for a decision, then it has to come from what you want to have. It's got to come from your goal. If a decision comes from what you have right now or your past, it's not a decision. It's your programming. So if
If you're going to say, oh, I made a decision, okay, did you back it up with action?
Exactly.
So, like, this is for people who are listening to this. This is one of the clearest indications of your self-image. And your self-image is identity. It's the same thing. It dictates everything. Everything you have is because of your identity. If you accept a bigger identity, your goal, everything will be bigger and better for you. That's just what it is. Cause and effect, again. The clearest indication of where your identity is set is obviously you take a look at your results. Your results is just a reflection of your identity. But here's another one. When you have an idea and intuition that says, oh, this is the way, go for this one, this, make the jump. When you have the idea, what is the time frame between idea and action? Is it weeks? Is it years? Or is it instantly? Successful people, they act on ideas fast. This is just universal. You can check it out, like everything from elite athletes, actors, business people, like people who are successful, going from one success to always expanding, they have this in common. They act on ideas fast. When they say, I made up my mind, this is how I'm going to live, they instantly back it up with some action. They invest themselves towards that thing. They don't say, oh, I made a decision, and then they go do something else. It's not a decision, it's a joke.
Yes.
You know, like, you gotta understand that you have to keep your word to yourself. That's the most important thing you have, because the relationship with yourself is the most important relationship you have. And the word you're keeping to yourself is with creating your relationship or taking it away from you, you know? So you gotta, like, trust yourself. And that's the only way to trust yourself, when you keep your word to yourself. That's why, you know, you're asking what is the one thing. Well, that's absolutely one of the things that I can say is, because lack of decision is one of the biggest causes of failure there is. People just don't make up their mind. I don't know, I just drift. Oh, I don't know what I want. What if I make it wrong? Just take something, stick to it, and the thing you stick to will develop things in you. Even if it's not it, you will calibrate to something else. But you're moving, you're active. You go from passive to active. Don't be passive. Passivity will always kill your confidence. It will always shrink you, you know. And with time, you just doubt more and more and more. Now you really don't know what you want, you know. Like, it's important for you to just make a decision for something that really inspires you. Stick to it and see where it leads you. You know, from there, maybe it was not like, maybe you don't know exactly, but you don't have to. You just go with the things that you know right now, and the more you expand your awareness, now you understand and see more. And here's another beautiful part to this. The more you believe you can have something, the more you want to have it.
Yeah.
Because you believe you can have it.
Exactly.
You know, the energy is super high. Your expectation is high. And expectation is really our superpower. You don't get what you want. You always get what you expect. Like, think people in relationships. They've broken up because the relationship was just chaos. They ended, they don't change it, they attract the same person again with another hair color or another name or another country, but the same person, same energy. Why? They want it different. They know they should go with different, but they expect the same.
Yeah.
Think of the salary. Most people have the same salary month after month. Why? Because they cannot earn more. Of course they can. All people can earn much more. They expect it.
Exactly.
It did come like 40 years in a row. It will come again. You know, like, you expect it to come.
Yeah.
So, and the expectation is controlled of your, you know, your state of mind. Your state of mind, your understanding yourself. How much are you in the state of gratitude, and have you built this strong faith? Faith is seeing yourself your eyes cannot see. Like Elon Musk. He started to do things. He cannot see it, but in his mind, he can see it. You know, no one else can see it.
Exactly.
But he sees something that is not seeable for that. But he believes it so much, so he moves towards it with no physical results.
Yeah.
With no physical evidence. That's faith. And that's the strongest thing we can build. You know, I don't need evidence. Oh, I don't see result, I'll just stop. Oh, that's backwards. That's living backwards. You gotta have more understanding, because your eyes will not take you there. Your eyes will only take you wherever you are. If you want to go higher, now it's only one thing left. It's understanding. You cannot see your potential. You gotta understand it. You cannot see your goal because it's not manifested yet. You gotta understand it.
Exactly.
And it's only the more understanding you have, the more you can move towards it without needing to see it all the time. You know? And that's what really separates the people that are always winning, you know? They do things, they don't see it with their eyes, but their inner understanding, they know.
Yeah.
They can feel it, you know?
Yeah, another thing is because I read the book with from Tim Grover because he trained Michael Jordan and also Kobe Bryant, and they are one of the best basketballers of all time, right? And what I also noticed from them specifically, they go to sleep, but they visualize how much they throw the ball on the basket. Is that also important in the process of getting to that goal that you want to reach? Like visualize every single day, like, okay, I'm going to reach that, how it feels, etc. Like, is that very important to get to that goal?
Yeah, it's super important.
Yeah.
And the reason, visualizing is really what, it's funny when you say it because visualizing, everyone is visualizing. Like, whether you're not or not, there's something always happening here. You cannot just stop, you know? Like, you're always in harmony with some idea. There's something always coming to you. You cannot see, but we're all sitting here already attracting things to us. Tomorrow, something happen. You don't know good or bad or like in between, but something. Something is coming to us.
Of course.
Income is coming. People are coming. Opportunities or problems are like all those things are coming.
Yeah.
Right. So visualizing is really doing something consciously. You know, mental activity is unconscious. There's always something, you know, going on here, but is your imagination controlled and directed? That's the power. If you can imagine what you want and you can stay there in your vision, it's done deal already. It must come to fruition. It's not even my opinion. It's called the perpetual transmutation of energy. It's a universal law. It says that all energy shifts form all the time. Like if you think of all the buildings you see, the microphone you see, someone envisioned it first. Now it's physical, but it was not physical first. Someone must have seen it first, and then now it's physical. So everything is already here. This is something that I teach all my clients, and a lot of people don't really understand this, or most people don't because we've not, learned this. But we say that creation is finished. Creation is finished means basically that everything is already here. Okay, so what's an example of that? Okay, so think of the iPhone. The first iPhone came like in the beginning of 2000, like 2004 or 5 or whatever it was. But if you really think about this, that the iPhone have always been here. Someone just came on the frequency and started to understand what thing goes with what thing in what order, and then they put it together. Now we have an iPhone. But someone could have come up with the iPhone 1,000 years ago. Someone listening, no, not 1,000 years ago. iPhone was not, yeah, it was 1,000 years ago. Everything to the iPhone has already been here.
Yeah.
No one for 1,000 years ago was thinking that way.
Yeah.
But because the thinking were on a lower frequency, it was much more survival thinking. Now it's creation thinking. The more creative we become, the more we go up in vibration. That's where we create all like this microphone, like everything. So when you think about your goal, the one thing you really have to understand, regardless of what the goal is, if you can see it, it means it exists. And if it exists, that's a way to get there.
Yeah.
And when you visualize, and you visualize always being yourself with the goal, what happens is if you can train yourself to keep your attention, with your goal, and this is training. This is like a skill, like playing the piano. Like you start with, it does sound good, but later you train and then you become good. Visualizing is a skill too, like playing football or something, or selling, And you can train yourself visualize so well, and what visualizing does, and this is, all athletes know this, the greatest one, actors know it, like all the business people who really, when you visualize your goal and you start feeling it, what happens is ideas come to you that takes you there. It's like if you're here and you want to go there, if you see yourself in the end already, and you see yourself already having the things, and you're rehearsing your future, what happens is you're actually building a bridge that will take you there. That's the beauty part. And that's the intuition says, this is the next thing. And you go, I have a great idea. Now the question is, will you act on it, or you say, no, I don't know. Don't do that. Just go for it. If it comes from your intuition, it's because it's the fastest way to your goal. Okay? The people who rationalize and overthink, it's all programming. If you rationalize, it's programming. If it comes from your heart, this emotion behind it, then you know it's real. And you also know the intuition when, 99% of the time your intuition will tell you to do something uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
And you gotta go for it.
That's the growth, man. Because also what Stefan says, you need to see it, visualize it, believe you can achieve it, and then actually achieve things. So implement the things that you need to do in order to create this microphone, create the iPhone, etc. So,
and when talking about that, I always like to. I'm a really visual person. I like to see things. So when I think of a goal, I think of a North Star, like something to go towards, something to strive towards. When you set the goal, I form like a calculation to get results, which in my mind is energy times time that you have times focus that you have gets results. Then you get feedback. And then with that feedback, it depends on you what you do to get other inputs that can get better results. So with that like calculation, but when we look at focus, I want to just take a little bit of a deep dive in focus. We live in a society now where when talking about iPhones, it's a world of distraction, right? People can get distracted like this. How does someone, in your opinion, in this day and age, get the focus so when they've set the goal, they feel it, they want to start making the decisions? How do they get focus in a world full of distractions these days, in your opinion?
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons you gotta have a goal. If you don't have a goal, you'll drown in everything. Everything and everyone wants your attention all the time. So that's why when you have a really like compelling something you really want to achieve and become, you have that goal will consume your attention. And now you're going to take away your attention from all the things that don't matter, they just drain your energy, and you put it towards your goal. That's how you do it. If you don't have a goal to invest yourself in, then you will be everywhere and nowhere, So this is, like you can think about, if you really want something and you really love the idea of it, you cannot stop thinking of it.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking of it all the time. So you don't want to distract yourself. Like we're conditioned to distract ourselves. That's the conditioning. But if you have a goal, it will always be stronger than your conditioning. And that's why the goal wins. That's why it's important to have something so inspiring, so your emotional connection to it.
Yes.
And when you have emotional connection to it, it will always win over your programming. So now you are very focused on that thing, because your joy comes from it.
Exactly.
When you think of it, you're happy. You don't want to do other stuff.
Yeah.
It don't matter. You know that it don't matter. So like having the goal is essential here. It's much more than again just reaching a goal or it's good to. No, it's much more. It sets everything in order in your life. Where you put your attention, your well-being, your personal growth. Like everything becomes so organized for you. Like order is the first law of the universe. Everything should be in a good order for you. That's what visualizing does also. When you visualize something, everything comes in order for you. Like, you wake up, you have clarity in your mind. You know where you're going. Now you're really powerful. It's only when you're a confused mind, you're a confused state, you never move forward. You always go backwards. Like in marketing, they say a confused mind always says no. That comes from the principle of order and confusion. So like when you have order in your mind, you always go forward. When you have confusion in your mind, you always go backwards to your comfort zone. That's why you want to keep your mind in order, and that's what you do with a goal, seeing yourself with it. It will create an instant order for you. And now you will cut through everything.
Amazing.
Yeah,
So
very
powerful.
important. Because that's also marketing, what you said before, like what I learned from copywriting, marketing, etc. Yeah, like you need to create a copy or an ad to make sure that you try to visualize, to let the person visualize the results they will get from buying this product, from buying this program, etc. So that's really powerful. Like visualize is really powerful.
Yeah,
Everything what you
100%.
have. Yeah.
And to some of this amazing interview, or interview, I say it's a podcast, but I feel like it's been amazing just to know all these things, and I hope you guys are also getting, have been getting so much value so far. For us with For Success, it's our goal to in the Benelux, like the Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg, it's our goal to be the biggest and best education platform that we can have, change the education system how it is in the Netherlands, and help people achieve their goals. I want to talk a little bit and sum this podcast up with your goals and accelerated lifestyle. What are some of your goals right now that you're trying to achieve with accelerated lifestyle and with everything surrounding your current situation so far?
We know the yacht. That's the first
one we
goal.
know. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The yacht is because I really love boats. I
Mm.
really love the ocean. I really feel so in tune when
Mm.
in the open ocean. I just love it. My goal for Accelerated Lifestyle, like Accelerated Lifestyle, is just academy. I say just, but it's a huge thing. Accelerated Lifestyle is the academy where we teach people how to use themselves better. Like how you start. Like when I started to learn the stuff with Bob, he taught me how to think, not what to think. School says to you, think this, that, memorize these things, but how to think, not what to do, how to do things, And we help people to connect them with their higher self. And for someone listening, they may say, "Oh, this sounds very abstract." It's actually very practical. Like what I do is I help someone to recognize how much they have inside of them and help them to bring that potential to the surface and then reach whatever goal they have, like it's financial goal, relationship goal, whatever goal it is, okay? Business goal. So Accelerated Lifestyle's mission is really waking people up to their greatness. I think that, I heard Joe Dispenza say it once in an interview. He said that I am so amazed how convinced people are of their limitations. They're so convinced that,
Wow.
oh, I don't think I have what it takes. So I am super motivated to really bring this information to the world
Yes.
and have people see it for themselves and, oh, maybe I do have it. Let's go for it. That's really the mission. And in terms of like my business, my next target is $10 million in revenue. So that's what I'm going as a business entrepreneur. And my life is great. Like I love my life. I do what I love doing. It's not always been like that. Only for 5 years ago, I had a job that I didn't enjoy. Nothing was worth get all the way. Like
Wow.
nothing was working. But now everything is shifted. I spend my days as I want to have. I have a great team. I connect people like you. I earn the money. I help the people. I live the lifestyle. Like I have everything because once it was just a vision, but mentor told me if you marry to that vision, it will come true if you go for it. And just that's what it is. And it's not like it happens sometimes to some people. No, it's all happens by an exact process. It's exact law. See, we talk about principles of the universe. It's principles, and I love them. You know why? Because you can always count on them. They always work the same way. For every cause, there is an effect. Always? Yes, always. Really always? Yes, really always. For everything you do, it's a sacrifice on everything else. Always? Yes, always. You can always count on the principles. Like, when I coach people, one of the things I tell people is that if you are relying like your, the support and your security and your, certainty in something outside of yourself, like most people see their, certainty or their, this point of support come from another person, a relationship, or their business, or their car, or whatever. You don't want that because you never want to lean on things that can change. People can change, they come and go. Business can go bankrupt. Someone takes your car. Where is your certainty now? Where is your security now? It must come from inside. If it doesn't come from inside, you don't have it.
Yeah.
Some people say, I have it for my job. What if you don't have the job tomorrow? Where's the security now? So here's the thing. the principles, what I'm talking about, they are always the same. And you can lean towards them because they will never change. You can rest in them, and don't worry that, one day, no. If you understand them, if you live in harmony with them, they'll give you anything you want. But if you're not in harmony with them, they'll take everything away from you. You see how it goes? It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So you gotta, you may say, yeah, but I don't understand the principles. No, the principles of how universe works, they will hold you strictly accountable. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, too bad. If you jump from the 5th floor, oh, I didn't know gravity. Oh, that's unfortunate. It's still gonna, you're not gonna go up. You're gonna go down. You know that. Yeah. So it's exactly the same thing with, all these principles we talk about, the cause and effect. You've got to be the cause of your circumstances. Don't let the circumstances be the cause and you be the effect. That's being on the wrong side of the principle. It will hurt you, So that's one example. But yeah,
Amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
Guys, this has been amazing. So I hope you guys truly found some insightful things that Tigran said. Tigran, to finish up, what's one thing you would want to give someone watching this, right? Or one last tip or one last thing other than the great information that we already talked about that hopefully they've taken along with them as well. What is one thing you would want to leave them behind with in the note of achieving success and achieving their goals?
Stay in control of yourself at all times. Make sure you are controlling yourself. Be aware of your attitude. Have a great attitude. This is essential. So there are certain principles, like you've got to have a goal. You really got to go for it with everything you've got, and you've got to stay disciplined. Discipline means don't accept things that make you weak. If negative people, go away from them. Find your way to keep your goal alive. Okay, that's the most important thing. And here's another thing I would say. Really understand when you're going for a goal, regardless of how big it is, you're not doing it yourself. A lot of times we think that, I have this goal, I gotta do. No, you're not. You're gonna attract the right people. You're gonna attract the right opportunities. You don't have to have the answers. You just have to really go for it, and you go as far as you can, and from there you will see how far you can go. And from there you can. That's how it works all the time. Yeah. So you don't have to figure things out. Stop trying to analyze and figure. That's just a waste of time and energy. Yeah. Know what you want and give everything you've got towards that thing, and guard your mind. Don't let people just throw a lot of negativity and you just accept everything. It will take your power away from you, and now you're going to shrink. So guard your mind. That's the most important thing. Only accept things about yourself that makes you stronger. Reject all the weakness.
Wow.
That's what I would say. So important.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Amazing. So powerful, guys. I want to finish it up on this. Tigran, it's been a pleasure talking to you in this podcast.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for the time, guys. I hope you've taken information from this. All of the links of Tigran, and if you want to watch everything, the YouTube channel is videos in English, so people can also view that. So if you want to look a lot of things up in terms of Tigran, look at the links in the description. You can check that out there. From Kaho and myself, first I want to thank Tigran as well, again, for making the time. Other than that, from Stockholm here in Sweden, and we're always changing up the podcast environment, but this time it was a special environment. So hope you guys enjoyed. Want to wish you an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.